There are 30 of us here from Mr. Hewitt's Women's Studies class. What do you think are the most prominent issues regarding women's rights today in America?
If you are a woman, you're more likely to live in poverty in this country. Women are more affected by the minimum wage, for example, because there are many more women working for minimum wage than men. Women in America today are earning 77, 78 cents on a dollar for doing the same work that men are doing. So they're huge. If you're a woman, you're more likely not to have health care. So every one of these issues directly affect the rights of women. And I would add to that, the United States Supreme Court, and particularly on civil rights laws, equality laws, the enforcement of anti-discrimination laws, is also very important. I'll give you an example. The United States Supreme Court had a decision this year that said if you are a woman working side by side with a man in a factory, for example, and you've been working there for 30 years, and it turns out that you were being paid, I don't know what it was, this part I'm making up, but you were being paid half of what the man was paid, because you didn't bring your case earlier, you can be barred from claiming you were sexually discriminated against. Now, how is it the woman is supposed to know? I mean, they put the responsibility on her to figure out what the people around her are being paid. That's basically what it boils down to. This is an example of a distorted view of the law. I mean, when women have been discriminated against, they need to have an effective right to enforce the laws that prevent that discrimination. We need to raise the minimum wage in this country so that it's now going to go to $7.25 an hour. In my view, it ought to be at least $9.50 an hour. And that will allow many more women to earn a more respectable wage that will allow them to support their family. We ought to have universal health care. If we had universal health care so that everybody in America had health care coverage, then women would be covered, number one, and they'd be most impacted by that. But on a more personal level, women, I've met so many women who are like my wife, Elizabeth, who have been diagnosed with breast cancer, and many of them, unlike Elizabeth, did not have health care coverage. And if you're a woman in America today, and you're diagnosed with breast cancer, and you don't have health care coverage, you have up to a 50% greater chance of dying from the breast cancer. That should not be true in America. In America, everyone should have health care coverage. And if every woman has health care coverage, it greatly increases the likelihood of, number one, getting screening for an early diagnosis. Even before that, if women get the preventive care that they need and the ongoing care that they need, you may help prevent breast cancer because there are preconditions for breast cancer. Second, you'll identify it early. You'll treat it earlier. The treatment will be more aggressive. I mean, for example, women who don't have health care coverage, you cannot get, what they often end up doing is going to the emergency room to ask for health care because they don't have any health care coverage. You can't get chemotherapy in the emergency room. And chemotherapy is the way you treat breast cancer, or in most cases, the way you treat breast cancer. So I think all of these things, pay equity, pay fairness, is trying to put an end to this 77 cents on the dollar, raising the minimum wage, doing something about health care coverage. I want to be the president who's the most aggressive about enforcing our laws against discrimination against women. I mean, it's about time we actually treat women equally in the United States of America as a moral matter and as a matter of equality under the law. And that's exactly what I intend to do as president.